You know, it's amazing what we learn if we just listen. I'm Dan Baer, and I'm running for the United States Senate. And when I have a few extra hours, I do this. It gives me a chance to hear from people I might not meet anywhere else. A few years ago, I was in the backseat in an armored car reviewing our options. President Obama had appointed me to the State Department, then a U.S. ambassador. And that day, I was in charge of negotiating an agreement to send international monitors into Ukraine in the wake of the Russian invasion.
We hold Russia accountable for its violations of international law.
Russia has been peddling a big lie in order to justify what is an illegal action. Vladimir Putin's foreign ministry tried to get me fired for that, but we didn't give up. We kept fighting, just like we fought for LGBT rights around the world.
Every human being counts as a person by virtue of his or her humanity. These are not a gay issue, they are a human rights issue.
I helped Secretary Clinton create the first Internet Freedom Office and free political prisoners.
Governments that respect their citizens have no reason to fear when citizens exercise their rights.
And I worked with Secretary Kerry to combat restrictions on activists and journalists.
Throwing a journalist in prison by a government is a sign of insecurity, not of confidence.
Then, the day President Trump was sworn into office, Putin's wish came true. I was fired. So my husband Brian and I moved home to Colorado. Governor Hickenlooper appointed me to his cabinet, where I took up the fight against the harmful policies of Betsy DeVos and Jeff Sessions, and for the largest new investment in higher education in generations. There's so much more to do. I hear it from parents, people worried about their parents, from teachers and students, from those who were born here and those who gave everything to get here. Folks I talk to aren't afraid of taking risks. They just expect a system that's fair, a system where risk and reward are linked. Right now, working people in the middle class are taking all the risks. The risk of taking out loans for an education, the risk of being bankrupted by healthcare costs, the risk of having their children and grandchildren inherit a dying planet. And big corporations are getting all the rewards. We need to reset. We've tackled problems this big before. After the Industrial Revolution, we created Social Security and financial regulations. In the wake of World War II, civil rights legislation, Medicare and Medicaid. We need the big ideas for our time. And right now, we have a senator who stands with President Trump instead of with Colorado's future. When I represented our country and President Obama, one of the lessons I learned is that in any country, heroes are more likely to be in newsrooms, NGOs, places of worship, in workers' associations, community meetings, classrooms, courtrooms, in the streets when necessary, than they are to be in a presidential palace. That's true in our country too. It's never only one person who rises to meet a moment. Some people ask me why I'm doing this. It's because I care about Colorado, and I care about our country. And I think Colorado has something to offer our country on the road ahead. I believe the only existential threat we face is that we let them wear us down to the point of not caring. Last November, we showed we still care. Enough to hold Washington accountable, enough to lift up new voices, enough to march, to call, to organize, to vote, to win. And the people I talk to in my pickup, they care too. We all get that we're doing our best to make our way, and we're not ready to give up on the idea that we can do better. If you care too, join us.